Welcome. My name is Marcus, and I need to share something that happened to my family. Something that started with my 7-year-old daughter whispering 5 words that changed everything. Before I tell you what those words were, please subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Your support means everything, and this story needs to be heard. 3 weeks ago, I was living what I thought was a good life. Not perfect, but good. Stable. My wife, Rachel, and I have been married for 9 years. We had 2 kids, Emma, 7 years old, bright as sunshine, and Jacob, 4, who never stopped moving. We live in a 3-bedroom house in Riverside, California. I worked as an engineer at a tech company. Rachel was a nurse at the county hospital, night shifts mostly. We made it work. My brother Daniel had been living with us for 8 months. He'd lost his job as a graphic designer back in February, got evicted from his apartment, and called me desperate. "Marcus, I have nowhere to go. Just a few months until I get back on my feet. I promise." He was my younger brother, 32 years old to my 36. Growing up, I'd always looked out for him. Our parents had died in a car accident when I was 23 and Daniel was 19. I'd helped him through college, through rough patches, through breakups. He was family. Of course I said yes. Rachel had hesitated. 8 months is a long time, Marcus. And the kids' rooms are upstairs near the guest room. I'd brushed off her concern. He's my brother. He's good with kids. Emma loves him, and I believe that. Daniel had always been great with Emma and Jacob. He'd play board games with Emma for hours, push Jacob on the swing set, help with homework. He seemed like the fun uncle, the cool one who let them stay up an extra 15 minutes, who made silly voices during story time. Looking back now, I see the signs I missed. The way Rachel's hesitation wasn't about space or inconvenience. The way she'd watch Daniel, sometimes with an expression I couldn't quite read. But I didn't see it then. I was too busy being the good brother, the responsible one who helped family in need. Tuesday, October 17th. I remember the exact date because it's seared into my memory like a brand. I came home from work around 6:30. Rachel was already gone for her night shift at the hospital. She worked 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. 3 times a week. Daniel was supposed to watch the kids those nights, help out with dinner, bedtime, the routine. It was part of our arrangement. Free room and board in exchange for being helpful. I walked in through the garage. The house was quiet. Too quiet for a Tuesday evening with 2 young kids. "Daniel?" I called out. "Emma? Jacob?" Jacob came running from the living room, tablet in hand, completely absorbed in some cartoon. "Hey, buddy, where's your sister?" He pointed upstairs without looking away from the screen. "Emma room." I climbed the stairs. Emma's door was closed. I knocked softly. "Sweetheart, it's Daddy. Can I come in?" A pause. Then her small voice. "Yes." I opened the door. Emma sat on her bed, knees pulled to her chest, still in her school clothes. Her backpack lay on the floor where she dropped it. She hadn't changed, hadn't done homework, just sitting there. "Hey, what's going on? Why aren't you downstairs? Where's Uncle Daniel?" She looked at me with those big brown eyes. My daughter's eyes, so much like my mother's. And something in them made my chest tighten. Fear. Uncertainty. "He's in his room," she said quietly. "Did you have dinner?" She shook her head. "Why not, honey?" "Uncle Daniel said he'd make mac and cheese." Emma picked at her bedspread. "Daddy, I don't want to go downstairs when Uncle Daniel is home." The words were soft but clear, each one landing like a stone in still water. I sat down on the edge of her bed, trying to keep my voice calm. "Why not, Emma? Did something happen? Did Uncle Daniel do something that upset you?" She wouldn't meet my eyes. "Can I stay in my room when he's home? Please?" My heart started beating faster. "Emma, you need to tell me what's wrong. Did Uncle Daniel say something mean to you?" "No." Her voice was barely audible. "But Daddy, I'm scared of him." 5 words. I'm scared of him. My 7-year-old daughter, who'd never been scared of anything except thunderstorms, who loved her uncle, who used to ask when Uncle Daniel was coming over back when he visited. Scared. I kept my voice gentle, calm, even though alarm bells were screaming in my head. "Can you tell me why you're scared? What did he do?" She twisted the corner of her blanket in her hands. "He looks at me funny sometimes. And last night when Mommy was at work, he came into my room after bedtime. Said he wanted to make sure I was asleep. But Daddy, I was already in bed with the lights off. Why did he need to check?" My hands went cold. How many times has he come into your room at night? She thought about it. Maybe 3 times? 4? I don't know. He just stands there in the doorway. Watches me. I pretend I'm sleeping so he'll go away. Every protective instinct I had roared to life. Did he ever touch you? Come closer than the doorway? Did he ever ask you to keep secrets? Emma shook her head quickly. No, he just looks. But scary, Daddy. I don't like it. And yesterday at school pickup, he told me I looked pretty in my dress. But the way he said it felt weird, like it wasn't a normal compliment. I wanted to go downstairs immediately. Wanted to drag Daniel out of the house by his collar. But I forced myself to stay calm for Emma. You did the right thing telling me, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you. You're not in trouble, and Uncle Daniel won't come into your room anymore. I promise. Can you tell me anything else? Anything at all that made you uncomfortable? She looked down. Sometimes when he helps me with homework, he sits really close. And last week when we were watching a movie, he kept putting his hand on my knee. I moved away, but he did it again. I told him I needed to go to the bathroom, and I stayed upstairs until Mommy came home. My vision tunneled. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to scream. I wanted to kill him. But Emma was watching me, gauging my reaction, and I couldn't fall apart. Not now. Okay, baby. Okay. Thank you for telling me. You stay right here. Lock your door after I leave. Don't open it unless it's me or Mommy. Understand? She nodded. Daddy? Her voice was small. Are you mad at me? Oh, sweetheart, no. I pulled her into a hug, held her tight. I'm not mad at you at all. Not even a little bit. You did exactly right. I'm proud of you. This isn't your fault. Do you understand me? None of this is your fault. She nodded against my chest. I felt her relax slightly. I stood up, made sure she locked the door behind me, and walked down the hallway toward Daniel's room. My hand was shaking. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Every step felt surreal, like I was moving through water. I stood outside his closed door. Music played inside. Some indie band he liked. I raised my fist to knock, then stopped. Something told me not to confront him yet. Not without more information. Not without evidence. If I accused him now, he'd deny everything. He'd say Emma was confused, imagining things. He made me doubt my own daughter. I needed proof. I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with. I backed away from his door and went downstairs. Jacob was still on the couch, oblivious. Hey, buddy, how about we have a guy's night? Pizza and a movie in my room? Yeah. He jumped up, thrilled. Can we watch the dinosaur one? Sure thing. Let me order the pizza. You go pick out the movie. While Jacob ran upstairs, I called Rachel. She answered on the second ring. I could hear the hospital noise in the background. Hey, everything okay? Something in my tone must have worried her. Not really. I kept my voice low. Can you call in sick? Come home. Now? What happened? Is someone hurt? No one's hurt. But Rachel, I need you home. It's about Emma. And Daniel. There was a pause. Then her voice changed. Became harder. What did he do? Just come home. Please. I'll explain everything. I'm calling in now. Give me 40 minutes. After I hung up, I ordered pizza from our usual place. Grabbed Jacob and Emma. Told them we were having a movie night in my bedroom. Emma stayed close to me the whole time. Jacob chattered about dinosaurs. I barely heard him. My mind was racing, trying to figure out my next move. I needed to see Daniel's phone. Needed to know if my worst fears were just paranoid thoughts or something real. Something dangerous. Something that meant my daughter had been living under the same roof as a predator. At 7:15, Daniel emerged from his room. Came downstairs. Saw us setting up in my bedroom. Oh, having a family movie night? His smile was easy, casual. Wanting to make popcorn? We're good, I said. Voice flat. We already ordered pizza. Oh, okay. Cool. He lingered in the doorway. Seemed to sense something was off. You guys doing okay? Emma pressed closer to my side. Fine, I said. Just tired. Long day. Yeah, me too. He stretched. I'm gonna grab some dinner and head back upstairs. Got some freelance work to finish. Sure. I didn't look at him. He stood there for another moment, then left. I heard him in the kitchen. The microwave beeping. The refrigerator opening and closing. Then his footsteps on the stairs. His door closing. Emma let out a breath she'd been holding. It's okay, I whispered. He's in his room. Mommy's coming home soon. We're safe. But even as I said it, rage was building in my chest. Cold, focused rage. The dinosaur movie played. Jacob laughed at the funny parts. Emma stayed pressed against my side, and I watched the clock, waiting for Rachel. She came through the door at 8:03. I heard her car in the driveway, her key in the lock. I met her at the top of the stairs, finger to my lips. The kids are watching a movie in our room. Come to Emma's room. We went into Emma's bedroom and closed the door. Rachel still wore her scrubs, her hair pulled back, face tight with worry. Tell me. So I did. Told her everything Emma had said. The nighttime visits, the watching, the uncomfortable touches, the weird compliments. Rachel's face went from worried to pale to furious in the space of 2 minutes. I knew something was wrong, she said. Her voice shook. I knew it. 3 weeks ago, Emma started asking if I had work. She'd get upset on nights I had shifts. I thought she just missed me. But Marcus, she was trying to make sure I'd be home. She was trying to avoid being alone with him. Why didn't you tell me? I felt sick, defensive, guilty. I didn't know. You didn't say anything. Because you always defend him. Rachel's eyes flashed. Every time I've expressed concern about Daniel, you've brushed it off. He's family, Marcus. He's going through a tough time. He's not that bad. Well, guess what? He's that bad. Our daughter is terrified in her own home. The words hit like a slap. Because they were true. I had defended him. Over and over. What do we do? I asked. My voice came out hoarse. We call the police. Now. No. I grabbed her arm. Wait. We don't have proof of anything illegal. Emma said he watched her, made her uncomfortable, but he didn't actually touch her inappropriately. If we call the police now, they'll interview Emma, traumatize her more, and probably won't be able to do anything because there's no evidence of a crime. So what? We just let him stay here? Rachel's voice rose. Let him keep watching our daughter? No. God, no. I ran my hands through my hair. But I need evidence first. Something concrete. I need to check his phone, his computer. See if there's anything that proves intent. Proves he's dangerous. Because, Rachel, if I'm right, if my worst fear is correct, I don't just want him out of our house. I want him in prison. She stared at me. How are you going to get his phone? He's not going to just hand it over. I don't know yet. But I'll figure it out. Tonight. I promise. We need to act normal until then. Can you do that? Rachel nodded slowly. But Marcus, if you find what I think you're going to find, we call the police immediately. No confronting him first. They're trying to handle this yourself. Agreed? Agreed. We went back to the bedroom where the kids were finishing their movie. Rachel hugged Emma so tight our daughter squeaked. The four of us stayed together until the kids fell asleep. Jacob in our bed, Emma on the floor in a sleeping bag she insisted on, right next to Rachel's side of the bed. She didn't want to sleep in her own room. Not with him down the hall. At 11 p.m., Rachel and I sat in our bedroom in the dark. Daniel's room had gone quiet an hour ago. His light was off. He was probably asleep. I need to get into his room, I whispered. Get his phone. Rachel's hand found mine in the darkness. Be careful. If he wakes up, there's no way to explain why you're going through his things. If he wakes up, I'll tell him the truth. That Emma told me she's scared of him, and I'm checking to see if she has a reason to be. What if you don't find anything? What if his phone is clean? Then I'll have violated his privacy based on a 7-year-old's discomfort. I'll look like a paranoid father, and he'll probably move out angry. But at least Emma will be safe. And if you do find something? Rachel's voice was barely audible. Then we call the police immediately and pray they can build a case before he destroys evidence. I stood up, checked on the kids, both sleeping soundly. I grabbed my phone, turned on the video recording feature, and slipped it into my shirt pocket with the camera facing out. If I found anything, I wanted it documented. Proof I hadn't tampered with or fabricated evidence. The hallway was dark. Daniel's door was closed. I stood outside it for a full minute listening. Nothing. No sound. No movement. The house felt heavy with tension, with secrets about to break open. I tried the doorknob. Unlocked. It turned smoothly, silently. I eased the door open inch by inch. Daniel's room was dark except for the streetlight filtering through the window. He was in bed, blanket pulled up, facing away from the door. His breathing was deep and even. Asleep. His phone sat on the nightstand. Charging. Right there. My heart hammered against my ribs. I took one step into the room, then another. The floor didn't creak. I moved slowly, carefully, like I was defusing a bomb. 3 more steps, and I reached the nightstand. My hand closed around his phone. I lifted it carefully, unplugged the charging cable. Daniel shifted in bed. I froze. Complete stillness. Every muscle locked. He settled back in his sleep, breath returning to that deep rhythm. I backed out of the room, step by step, pulled the door, closed behind me. In the hallway, I let out a shaking breath. I had his phone. Now I just needed to get into it. I went downstairs to my home office, closed and locked the door, sat at my desk with Daniel's phone in front of me. The screen was locked. Password protected. 4-digit code. I tried his birthday. 0814. Invalid. I tried our parents' anniversary. Invalid. 3 more wrong attempts, and the phone would lock completely, require his face or his Apple ID password. I thought about Daniel, about what mattered to him, and then I tried 1996, the year our parents died, the year everything changed for both of us. The phone unlocked. My stomach dropped. I was in, and whatever I found next would either prove I was a paranoid monster destroying my relationship with my brother, or would confirm that the person I defended for 8 months was a predator. I opened his photo gallery first. My hand shook as I scrolled. Recent photos showed freelance design work, screenshots of job postings, a few selfies, nothing unusual. I kept scrolling backward. September, August, July. Then I found the folder. It was labeled Reference Images. Innocuous title. I tapped it open and the world stopped. Photos of Emma. Dozens of them. Emma doing homework at the kitchen table. Emma in her pajamas coming out of the bathroom. Emma asleep in her bed, taken from the doorway. Emma at the park on the swings. Emma getting out of the car after school. Emma, Emma, Emma. My daughter. Photographed without her knowledge. Without my knowledge. Some of the angles were low, as if he'd held the phone at his side. Others were clearly zoomed in, and they were all dated, all time-stamped, all organized. This wasn't accidental. This was systematic. This was intentional. This was a collection. I thought I might throw up. My hands trembled so badly I almost dropped the phone. But I forced myself to keep looking, to document everything. I opened his messaging apps, checked his texts first. Nothing unusual there. Then I opened an app one didn't recognize, an encrypted messaging service. He had 3 active conversations. The first one was with a contact labeled J. I opened it. The messages were recent. Some from yesterday. J, any new content? Daniel, not yet. Being careful. Wife has been home more. J, take your time. Quality over quantity. You know what we want. Daniel, I know. Trust me. The niece is perfect. Exactly the type your group likes. The niece. My daughter. My Emma. He was calling her the niece like she was a product. Like she was content to be shared. I kept reading. Scrolling up through older messages. Photos have been exchanged. Not of Emma, thankfully, but of other children. Other people's children. Some very young. Some in compromising positions. Some clearly in distress. I was looking at a pedophile network. My brother was part of a group that traded child exploitation materials. And he'd been grooming my daughter. Preparing her. Photographing her. Getting ready to escalate. The second conversation was with someone labeled M. The messages were more explicit. Detailed fantasies. Descriptions of what Daniel wanted to do. Preferred ages. Preferred types. Strategies for gaining access to children. How to spot vulnerable families. How to build trust with parents while isolating kids. One message from M read, the ones who live with you are easiest. You're already trusted. Already have access. Just be patient and wait for the right moment. Daniel's response, I've been patient. 8 months now. Building trust. The oldest one is perfect. 7 is ideal. Not too young to remember, but young enough to manipulate. Just need the wife's work schedule to align right. I was reading my brother's plan to sexually abuse my daughter. Reading it in his own words. In clinical, calculated language. Like she was a target. Like our family's trust was a weapon to be used against us. The third conversation was in a group chat. 12 members. They used coded language, but I'd watched enough true crime documentaries to understand it. Pizza meant child. Cheese pizza meant young girl. Sauce meant videos or photos. They were trading materials, discussing victims, sharing strategies. Daniel had sent messages as recently as this morning, describing Emma, her schedule, her personality, how she was warming up to spending time with him alone. One member responded, 8 months is a long time to wait. When are you going to make a move? Daniel, soon. Need to be smart about it. Brother is clueless, but wife is suspicious. May need to create situation where wife is out of town. Then I'll have real time alone with her. My vision went red. I stood up from my desk, so fast my chair rolled backward and hit the wall. My brother, the person I'd helped, protected, and defended, had moved into my home with the specific intention of sexually abusing my daughter. This wasn't opportunistic. This wasn't about convenience or his financial situation. He'd engineered this. Used my loyalty, my compassion, my guilt about being the one who survived our parents to gain access to my child. I wanted to go upstairs and drag him out of bed. Wanted to beat him unconscious. Wanted to make him feel a fraction of the fear and violation Emma felt. But I didn't, because I promised Rachel. Evidence first, then police. I took screenshots of everything. Every photo, every message, every contact name. I sent them all to my own email. Backed them up to the cloud. Then I used my phone to photograph his phone screen as additional verification. Timestamps visible. Phone number visible. Everything documented. It was 1:43 a.m. when I finished. I had everything I needed. More than enough for the police. More than enough to put him away. I went upstairs quietly. Put his phone back on his nightstand exactly where I'd found it. Plugged in the charging cable. Daniel never stirred. I backed out of his room and went to my bedroom. Rachel was awake, sitting up in bed. Emma and Jacob still slept. She looked at my face and knew. What did you find? I pulled out my phone. Showed her the screenshots I'd sent to my email. Watched her face crumble as she scrolled through them. Watched her hand cover her mouth to hold back a scream. When she finished, she looked at me with tears streaming down her face. Call the police. Now. I dialed 911. Told them I needed officers to come to my house immediately. That I had evidence of child exploitation materials on my brother's phone. That my daughter had been photographed without consent by a predator living in our home. That I needed help now. The dispatcher stayed on the line with me. Asked me to stay calm. Asked if anyone was in immediate danger. I said no. The children were asleep with me. The suspect was asleep in another room. But I needed officers here before he woke up and realized his phone had been accessed. 2 units are on the way, the dispatcher said. Stay on the line with me. Don't confront the suspect. Officers will be there in approximately 8 minutes. Those 8 minutes felt like hours. Rachel and I stayed in our bedroom with the kids. We didn't talk, just held each other and waited. At 1:56 a.m., I saw the flashing lights through our bedroom window, red and blue illuminating the street. No sirens, just lights. I went downstairs and opened the front door before they could knock. 4 officers stood on my porch. I'm Marcus Rivera. I called about my brother. Evidence of child exploitation. The lead officer, a woman in her 40s with sergeant stripes, nodded. I'm Sergeant Patricia Holloway. We need you to walk us through exactly what you found. Can you do that? Yes. Come in. Please be quiet. My kids are sleeping upstairs. They don't need to see this. I showed them my office. Pulled up the screenshots on my computer. Walked them through each folder, each conversation, each photograph. Showed them the video I'd taken while documenting his phone. Sergeant Holloway's expression got harder with each image. The other officers took notes, photographed my screen, documented everything. Where's your brother now? Asleep upstairs. Second door on the right. His phone is on his nightstand. I put it back after I photographed everything. Sergeant Holloway turned to her officers. Martinez, Chun, come with me. Johnson, stay here with Mr. Rivera. We're going to wake the suspect and secure his phone before he can delete anything. I watched from the bottom of the stairs as the 3 officers went up. Heard them knock firmly on Daniel's door. Police. Open the door. A confused mumble. What? What's going on? Open the door now, sir. We have a warrant to search your room and seize your electronic devices. That was a lie. They didn't have a warrant yet. But Daniel didn't know that. And the evidence was in plain sight on his nightstand. The door opened. More confused talking. Then I heard it. My brother's voice, rising in panic. What are you talking about? What evidence? I haven't done anything. Sir, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for possession of child sexual abuse materials and suspicion of attempted child exploitation. Wait, no. This is a mistake. Marcus. His voice got louder. Marcus, tell them this is insane. I didn't move. Didn't answer. Just stood at the bottom of the stairs while they brought him down in handcuffs. He saw me. Our eyes met. And in that moment, the brother I'd known, the person I protected and defended, became a stranger. How could you, he said. His voice broke. I'm your brother. I trusted you. You came into my home, I said. My voice was ice. You gained my trust. My wife's trust. And you used it to prey on my daughter. My 7-year-old daughter, Daniel. His face changed. The mask dropped. The confusion and betrayal vanished. What replaced it was cold calculation. You went through my phone. That's illegal. That's a violation of my privacy. Whatever you think you found, it won't hold up. I protected my child. Your phone had evidence of a crime. I documented it and called the police. Everything was done legally. Sergeant Holloway can confirm. The sergeant nodded. Mr. Rivera did nothing illegal. He had reasonable suspicion based on his daughter's statements and acted appropriately. You, on the other hand, have a significant legal problem. Daniel was led outside. I watched through the window as they put him in the back of the patrol car. Watched the car drive away with my brother inside. And I felt nothing but relief. Sergeant Holloway stayed behind with Officer Johnson. Mr. Rivera, Mrs. Rivera, we need to take your statements tonight. We'll also need to speak with your daughter, but that will happen later through a child forensic interviewer. Someone specially trained for these situations. For tonight, just tell me everything that happened. Every detail you remember. We talked until 4 in the morning. Walked them through Emma's disclosure. The timeline of Daniel's behavior. My decision to check his phone. What I found. They took my phone as evidence. Took my computer to preserve the screenshots. Left me with a case number and a card for victim services. You did the right thing, Sergeant Holloway said as she left. A lot of parents would have confronted him first, given him time to destroy evidence. You kept your head. Your daughter is safe because of that. After they left, Rachel and I sat in the living room. Dawn was breaking outside, purple and gold light through the windows. What will we tell the kids? Rachel asked. The truth, I said. Age-appropriate truth. We tell Emma that we believed her. That Uncle Daniel won't be living here anymore. That she's safe. That none of this was her fault. And we get her into therapy immediately. What do we tell people? Family, friends? Everyone's going to ask where Daniel went. The same truth. That he was arrested for possession of child exploitation materials. That he was grooming our daughter. That we're cooperating with the police. Let them react however they want. Our job is protecting our kids, not protecting his reputation. At 7 a.m., Emma woke up, came downstairs rubbing her eyes, saw us on a couch. Where's Uncle Daniel? She asked. Her voice was small, tentative. He left early this morning, I said. He's not going to be living here anymore. Forever? Forever. Is it because of what I told you? Because I was scared? Rachel moved to sit beside her. Emma, baby, listen to me. You did nothing wrong. Nothing. Uncle Daniel was not behaving appropriately. Daddy and I found out that he was doing bad things. Things that could hurt you. So the police took him away. You're safe now. He can't come back. Emma processed this. Her face showed confusion, then relief, then guilt. I didn't want him to get in trouble. I just didn't want to be scared anymore. You're not the reason he's in trouble, I said. He's in trouble because of his own choices. His own actions. You were brave to tell me you were scared. You saved yourself, Emma. You should be proud. She thought about this, then nodded. Can I go back to sleeping in my own room now? If you want to, or you can keep sleeping with us for a while. Whatever feels safe. I think I want my room back. Now that he's gone, she looked at both of us. He's really not coming back, right? He's really not. I promise. Over the next week, things moved quickly. Daniel was formally charged with possession of child sexual abuse materials. His phone was forensically analyzed. They found over 300 images and videos. They identified members of his network, started building cases against them. Daniel's lawyer called me, tried to negotiate. Your brother is willing to plead guilty to reduce charges if you'll provide a character reference. Tell me you're joking, I said. Character reference? For a pedophile who targeted my daughter? He's your brother, the lawyer said. Doesn't that count for something? Not anymore, it doesn't. He stopped being my brother the moment he took the first photograph of my child. The lawyer tried to argue. I hung up, blocked the number. Emma started therapy. Dr. Sarah Chun specialized in childhood trauma. She met with Emma twice a week, worked with her on understanding that she wasn't at fault, that her body was her own, that she had the right to say no, that adults who made children uncomfortable were the problem, not the children. After the third session, Dr. Chun called me. Your daughter is remarkably resilient. She's processing this well. But I want you to know, if you hadn't acted when you did, this would have escalated. Based on the evidence you found, your brother was days, maybe weeks away from attempting physical contact. You stopped it before it got that far. Emma will recover from this without severe trauma because you believed her immediately. The relief I felt hearing those words was overwhelming. Rachel and I also went to therapy, worked through our own guilt and anger. Rachel blamed herself for not pushing harder about her suspicions. I blamed myself for defending Daniel, for bringing him into our home in the first place. Our therapist, Dr. Ramon Hayes, worked with us on reframing. You made decisions based on the information you had at the time. Daniel is skilled at manipulation. He spent years perfecting his approach. You're not responsible for his actions. You're only responsible for your response. And your response was exactly right. 6 weeks after Daniel's arrest, his trial date was set. The prosecutor contacted us. We want Emma to testify. I know that's difficult, but her statement about his behavior, combined with the digital evidence, will strengthen the case considerably. Rachel and I discussed it. Asked Dr. Chun for her opinion. Emma can handle it if she's prepared properly, Dr. Chun said, and it might actually be empowering for her to speak her truth, to be believed by a room full of adults, to see that the system is protecting her. We talked to Emma, explained what testifying meant, that she'd have to answer questions about what made her uncomfortable, that Daniel would be in the room but couldn't talk to her, that a judge would listen to her. Do you want to do this? I asked. You don't have to. We have enough evidence without your testimony. Emma thought about it. Will it help make sure he can't hurt other kids? Yes, Rachel said. It will definitely help with that. Then I want to do it. I don't want other kids to be scared like I was. The trial was set for January, 3 months away. In the meantime, Daniel sat in county jail. Bail had been denied due to flight risk and the severity of charges. He called from jail twice. Both times I let it go to voicemail. Both times I deleted the message without listening. I had nothing to say to him. Other family members weren't as understanding. My Aunt Linda called. Marcus, Daniel is family. He made mistakes, but don't you think you're being harsh? Not visiting him? Not supporting him? He didn't make mistakes, I said. He systematically planned to sexually abuse my daughter. He was part of a pedophile network. He took hundreds of photos of children. These weren't mistakes. These were crimes. But he's your brother. He was my brother. Now he's a criminal who targeted my child. And if you think I should support that, you don't understand what family actually means. Some relatives stopped calling after that. Decided I was being too harsh, too unforgiving, too judgmental. I didn't care. My priority was Emma, Jacob, and Rachel. Everyone else could think whatever they wanted. December came. Emma's 8th birthday. We threw her a party at home. Small one, just her closest friends. She asked if we could invite everyone except Uncle Daniel. Of course, I said. Uncle Daniel won't be at any of our events ever again. Good, she said simply. And that was that. She was healing, moving forward, reclaiming her space and her life. The trial happened in January, exactly as scheduled. Emma testified for 40 minutes, sat in a special chair that made her feel taller, spoke into a microphone so everyone could hear, answered questions from the prosecutor about feeling scared, about Uncle Daniel watching her, about the uncomfortable touches, about wanting to avoid him. Daniel's defense attorney tried to suggest she was confused, that her parents had planted false memories. Emma looked right at him and said, I know what happened to me. I'm not confused. The judge sustained every objection the prosecutor made. By the end of Emma's testimony, 3 jurors were crying. The digital evidence was presented next. Photos from Daniel's phone, messages from his encrypted apps, testimony from a forensic analyst who'd examined his computer and found even more materials, evidence of his participation in the network. of him sharing photos of Emma with other predators, of him discussing plans to escalate. Daniel's attorney tried to argue entrapment. I'd illegally accessed his phone. The judge shut it down immediately. A parent checking a phone based on credible concern about their child's safety is not illegal. Mr. Rivera had reasonable suspicion. He acted appropriately. The evidence is admissible. The jury deliberated for 3 hours, returned with guilty verdicts on all counts: possession and distribution of child sexual abuse materials, attempted child exploitation, conspiracy to commit child exploitation. Sentencing was set for 6 weeks later. At the sentencing hearing, I gave a victim impact statement, stood in front of the court, and spoke directly to the judge. Your Honor, the man sitting behind me is biologically my brother. We share DNA. We share a history. I helped raise him after our parents died. I defended him, protected him, brought him to my home when he needed help. And he used all of that, my love, my trust, my sense of family obligation, as tools to gain access to my daughter, to plan her abuse. He sat at my house for 8 months, ate meals with us, played with my kids, and the entire time he was documenting my daughter, sharing her photos with predators, planning to destroy her innocence, her sense of safety, her childhood. My daughter is 8 years old. She's in therapy. She's healing. But she had to learn at 7 years old that adults can be dangerous, that family members can hurt you, that you can't always trust the people who say they love you. Daniel took that from her. He took her uncomplicated trust in the world, and I can never forgive him for that. I'm asking you to sentence him to the maximum allowed under law, not for revenge, but for protection, for my daughter and for every other child he might target in the future. He is a predator. He is calculated. He is dangerous, and he needs to be kept away from children for as long as possible. Thank you. I sat down. Rachel squeezed my hand. The judge looked at Daniel. Mr. Rivera, do you have anything to say before I impose sentence? Daniel stood. He looked different than he had 8 months ago. Thinner, grayer, tired. I want to apologize, he started. His lawyer had clearly coached him. I made terrible choices. I have a sickness that I didn't understand. I need help, not punishment. I'm asking for leniency so I can get treatment. The judge's expression didn't change. Mr. Rivera, you had hundreds of opportunities to seek help before you targeted your niece. You chose not to. You chose instead to cultivate relationships with other predators, to share materials, to plan abuse. This was not a momentary lapse in judgment. This was systematic, intentional, and predatory. She opened the sentencing document. On count 1, possession of child sexual abuse materials, I sentence you to 8 years in federal prison. On count 2, distribution of child sexual abuse materials, I sentence you to 12 years in federal prison. On count 3, attempted child exploitation, I sentence you to 10 years. These sentences will run consecutively, not concurrently. Total sentence, 30 years in federal prison, followed by lifetime supervision and registration as a sex offender. Daniel collapsed into his chair. His lawyer whispered urgently to him. 30 years. He'd be 62 when he got out. His life, as he knew it, was over. Good. The judge continued. Additionally, I'm imposing a permanent no-contact order. You are forbidden from any contact, direct or indirect, with Emma Rivera, Jacob Rivera, Marcus Rivera, or Rachel Rivera. Any violation will result in additional charges. Do you understand? Daniel nodded numbly. This court is adjourned. The gavel came down. Officers led Daniel away. He didn't look at us, didn't try to speak, just shuffled out in shackles. Outside the courtroom, Emma ran to me. Is it over, Daddy? It's over, sweetheart. He's going away for a very long time. Good. She hugged me tight. Can we get ice cream now? Absolutely. We got ice cream. All 4 of us. Sat in the shop and ate sundaes and talked about normal things. School. Friends. Jacob's upcoming preschool graduation. The movie we wanted to see this weekend. Normal life. Safe life. That was 4 months ago. Emma is doing well. Still in therapy, but thriving. She's back to being the bright, cheerful kid she was before. She sleeps in her own room. Doesn't ask about Daniel. Doesn't seem traumatized by the trial. Dr. Chun says her resilience came from being believed immediately, from seeing the adults in her life take action to protect her. Jacob is blissfully unaware of most of it. He knows Uncle Daniel went away because he broke important rules. That's enough explanation for a 4-year-old. Rachel and I are rebuilding the trust we lost, not in each other, but in our judgment, learning to forgive ourselves for not seeing the signs sooner. Our therapist reminds us regularly that we did see the signs. We acted immediately. We protected our daughter. That's what matters. The house feels different now. Lighter somehow. Daniel's room is now Rachel's home office. We repainted it, changed the furniture, made it new. Emma helped pick the paint color. Bright yellow. Happy color, she said. Exactly, I agreed. Happy color. I think about the night Emma whispered those 5 words. I'm scared of him. 5 words that saved her. 5 words that destroyed the relationship with my brother, but protected my daughter. I made the right choice. I make it again. Every single time. Some extended family still don't understand. Still think I was too harsh. That family should forgive. That Daniel deserves compassion. Maybe they're right about compassion. Maybe he does deserve help and treatment. But not at the expense of my daughter's safety. Not at the risk of another child being hurt. There are some lines you can't uncross. Some betrayals too fundamental to forgive. This was one of them. Last week I got a letter. Prison mail. Daniel's handwriting. I didn't open it. Didn't read it. Just put it through the shredder and threw it away. I have nothing I need to hear from him. No apology would matter. No explanation would change anything. He made his choices. I made mine. We both live with the consequences. Emma came into my office while I was shredding the letter. Who's that from, Daddy? Nobody important, sweetheart. Just junk mail. She accepted this and showed me a drawing she'd made. Our family. 4 stick figures holding hands. Smiling. No 5th figure. No uncle. Just the 4 of us. This is perfect, I said. Can we put it on the refrigerator? Yeah. She ran to get a magnet. I looked at the drawing. For people. Complete family. Safe family. This was what mattered. Not the brother I'd lost. Not the family members who didn't understand. Not the trial or the sentence or the 30 years of prison. Just this. 4 stick figures holding hands. Smiling. Safe. If you're reading this, if you have children, if someone in your family makes you feel that small, uncomfortable tug of worry, listen to it. Don't dismiss it. Don't rationalize it. Don't defend the person making you worried just because they're family. Family doesn't mean automatic trust. Family doesn't mean overlooking concerning behavior. Family means protecting the most vulnerable members, even if it costs you relationships with others. Emma told me she was scared. 5 words. I listened. I believed her. I acted. And those 3 things, listening, believing, acting, saved my daughter from trauma she'll never have to recover from because it never happened. That's the win. Not the trial verdict. Not the sentence. Not the vindication. The win is that Emma is still Emma. Still bright and cheerful and trusting in her own judgment. Still able to say when something feels wrong. Still confident that adults will believe her. I look at that drawing on my refrigerator every day. 4 stick figures. Smiling. Holding hands. Safe. And I know I made the right choice. The only choice. I protected my daughter. Everything else was just details. If you found this story impactful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you've ever had to make a difficult choice to protect someone you love, know that you're not alone. The right choice isn't always the easy one, but it's always worth it. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being part of this community. And thank you for understanding that sometimes the most important thing we can do is simply believe our children when they tell us they're scared. Because those 5 words, I'm scared of him, they saved my daughter's life. And I'll never regret acting on them. Never.